I'm going to try to give a little background to the current crisis, but I'd like to start with a quote from Israel Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who said, "You negotiate with your enemies, not with your friends."
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that approach did get him assassinated. That was the approach he was following with the Palestinians. And negotiating with your enemies is also difficult in the United States. I first encountered this crisis when I was working in the White House in 1994. At that time, the Pentagon was working on a plan to bomb North Korea's plutonium production complex. The only question was whether it would restart the Korean War, and the U.S. Army estimated that would kill 1 million people, including 50,000 Americans. The State Department was working in parallel on getting a sanctions resolution through the UN Security Council. In the middle of this debate, former President Jimmy Carter was invited to North Korea by its dictator Kim Il-sung, the grandfather of the current dictator. And there's actually a very good frontline interview with Carter in 2003 where he tells the story. Kim didn't want another war and agreed to freeze the North Korean nuclear program and let the IAEA inspectors back in exchange for peace negotiations. 4 months later, North Korea and the United States concluded what was called an agreed framework, in which North Korea would end its plutonium program in exchange for fuel oil and 2 nuclear power reactors. Senator McCain denounced the agreement as appeasement, but it held, and President Clinton tried to build on it, including a freeze on North Korea's ballistic missile program until the end of his time in office. He was actually going to go to North Korea after the election, but the Hanging Chads crisis resulted in him having to cancel that. Incoming Secretary of State Colin Powell promised he would complete the negotiations. But North Korea was cheating. It had launched a secret program to make highly enriched uranium. The George W. Bush White House therefore decided to pull the plug on negotiations with North Korea. North Korea then resumed its plutonium and ballistic missile programs and withdrew from the Non-Proliferation Treaty. In 2006, North Korea carried out its first nuclear test. That's 10 years ago. In 2009, when President Obama came into office, North Korea greeted it with a missile test and a nuclear test. President Obama decided North Korea was too hard and decided to just ignore that issue and work out a deal with Iran, which fortunately was successful. But North Korea kept going, and it's now tested a big bomb and is testing longer-range missiles that appears could threaten the United States within a few years. So we're back to where we were before President Carter went to Pyongyang, and I wish he could go there again.
Amen. Amen.
In the event that you are in danger or your life is being threatened and you cannot talk, Text to 911 provides a capability that would allow you to provide information to first responders.
These communities, they see something, they say something. They see something that's off, maybe suspicious.
What's the threat? Okay, large public gatherings, low-skilled attacks, knife, vehicles. All right.
If you see something, say something.
Anyone who understands Homeland Security, as I do, knows
it's real. You know, that makeshift bomb that went off over on D Street, I mean, that could happen on our beaches. It could happen anywhere.
If you see something, say something. I can't say that enough. And don't worry about looking like a fool. You're going to save lives. Okay?
It could happen anywhere. Nobody's immune to this in this day and age.
We are now endangered by 2 aggressive world leaders, Korean and U.S., who are or wish to be tyrants, dictators in their countries. threats of the use of nuclear weapons are being made by both of them. We know that even one nuclear explosion would cause massive damage and loss of life.
We understand that we are literally at the brink of something that is just horrifying to think about. And it is up to us today, as we're hearing from all our speakers, to do something. We have to come together. We have got to bring our voices together like we're doing. We have got to take action.
A quote from Israel Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who said, "You negotiate with your enemies, not with your friends." And of course that approach did get him assassinated. That was the approach he was following with the Palestinians. And negotiating with your enemies is also difficult in the United States.
I don't want our future and the future of our children and grandchildren to protect us from nuclear war to be a matter of luck. I want it to be a matter of doing the right thing, which is diplomacy, not war.
That if it had not been for Washington's victories at Trenton and Princeton, we'd be singing "God Save the Queen."